Now that we know how to output dynamic content, let's make our component configurable, flexible, and dynamic. For normal HTML elements, we can pass attributes, like class name, which we can add to any HTML attribute. An input element also would have the value attribute, for example. Now for person, it would be nice if we could say name and maybe pass max, and age and maybe pass 28. And for the second usage, we maybe want to pass menu and an age of 29. And for the third usage, we maybe want to use Stephanie and pass an age of 26. That's not my girlfriend, by the way. So if we do that, we want to output this. And maybe we even want to take it further. And for menu, we also want to split this in an opening and closing tag and also output some additional information like my hobbies, which could be racing. Now, with all of that in place, we have to change something in our person component to handle that input. Because by default, of course, if we save this and we reload the app, our output is unchanged because we're not using this information. How would we? How would React know what to do with that? Well, it actually is able to take these attributes and gives us access inside our receiving component on an object named props. Now, actually, the name here is up to you, but you will receive one argument in your function, one argument which is passed into it by default by React, which is an object with all the properties of this component. And properties means the attributes you add on your component. Now, in React land, this is referred to as props, which is why I named this argument props, and I strongly recommend doing so that everyone else understands your code too. Theoretically, you're free to name this differently though. So now that we have props, we can get access to that name and age thing. So we could say I'm, and now use single curly braces to output something dynamic. I am props name, and I am years old. Now here, I will keep the curly braces, but replace the random calculation with props age. I'm props name and I'm props years old. Let's now save this and let's see what happens if this now reloads in our application. If it doesn't reload manually. You should see I'm Max and 20 years old, Manu, and Stephanie and all the ages. So now we're having the best of both worlds. We have a reusable component which has a clearly defined template, but in there we use dynamic content which we set from outside in the place where we actually use our component. This makes it really reusable. Think about all the possibilities which we will also explore in this course. Having an input component where you can set the type from outside. Having this person component which might be styled like a card to output dynamic or different content for the different persons. That is truly an amazing world of features we can access here, and it's one important step towards really building great and flexible components. What about the hobbies here though? Let's have a look at how we can use content which is passed not as an attribute, but between the opening and closing tags in the next lecture.